Good afternoon. Welcome to The Pulse. This broadcast is live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, and on all our social media handles. We are joining you on TV. Coming up, uncertainties soar over Ghana's extradition request against former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta following confirmation by his lawyers that his U.S. immigration status has been adjusted to permanent residency, a development that could significantly complicate efforts to secure his return. We have more as the Attorney General's office says it is not aware of this latest development. And a tense legal showdown unfolds in a federal Canadian court as Ghanaians wait with bated breath over Thomas Partey's fate, whether he will feature or miss Ghana's crucial opening clash against Panama in less than 24 hours. Cocoa Board has admitted it owes licensed cocoa companies nearly 6 billion Ghana cedis, promising to settle the debt by the end of the month, even as cocoa farmers struggle under mounting financial pressure to survive.
Look, it has never been the practice whereby LBCs will owe farmers. It has never been, or it is not the practice.
We have more as the licensed cocoa buying companies scramble to recover every pesewa owed them.
Some of our members in a month pays over 50 million Ghana months. Now, it's unfortunate.
Also coming up this afternoon, minority accuses government of plans to rip off public purse in an $80 million demand to complete a Afari military hospital, describing the move as criminal. We have details plus tell you how much the arrears is according to the minority in Parliament. Family of the deceased UCC students say they are not relieved despite the arrest of the suspect. We have more as the University of Cape Coast students say they are still shocked yet cautious after colleague's death. Ghana records at least 13 university student deaths since 2024 as campus safety fears mount. We have details on the institutions recording the highest deaths, what is killing students on and off campus, and why student leaders are demanding urgent action. The latest of these and many other stories are coming up in the next 3 hours. The Pulse is brought to you by Defendra Cough Expectorant. Defendra, breathe easy, feel better. My name is Kenneth Gyasi. See you in a moment.
Now let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park.
Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park.
Our electric shuttle pulled up and in no time our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the Eco Park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown crane, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults, this price for teenagers. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It has been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
Another week is here on the greatest of all time show. My name is Giovanni Clip, and tonight we're bringing you talent. Contestant number 1, let's bring Baby Car. Let's bring. You did it for you.
Cut. Oh, there is a leakage.
Where's the plumber? for quality and durability, insist on Syntex pipes.
If you want quality, this be where you belong.
Strong, tough, and reliable. Your perfect match to your trusted Syntex pipe. Syntex pipe, it dey carry water, no wahala. Syntex pipe, it dey make water dey flow. Syntex, and you're strong, and you're tough.
Step into a universe of play. Explore games for every taste and find your favorite way to play. The excitement starts here. 1x Games on 1xBet. A world of games wherever you are.
Mom, so Kidivite contains 12 vitamins?
Yes, 12 essential vitamins that growing bodies need.
So we'll grow healthy and strong. And smart?
Absolutely.
Kidivite Multivitamin Tonic contains all the essential vitamins and nutrients needed for the healthy development of children from age 1 to 12 years. Also available, Kidivite Multivitamin Drops for babies under 12 months. Grow strong, grow healthy with Kidivite. Distributed by NS Chemist Limited. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Did you know that Ghana currently spends more than 8 billion Ghana cedis annually importing food that can be produced locally? That is why this June, Joy Business and the Super Morning Show, in partnership with the Federation of Associations of Ghanaian Exporters, FAGE, bring you the Joy Agribusiness Month 2026 under the theme From Soil to Sovereignty, Building Ghana's Agricultural Self-Reliance Through Innovation. Join us on the Joy Super Morning Show, Joy News, and across Joy Business platforms for a month-long national conversation on Ghana's food security and agribusiness future. Week 1 focuses on government policy, trade and financing for food sovereignty. Week 2 explores research, innovation, mechanization. Week 3 examines infrastructure, value addition, youth participation and agricultural financing, while Week 4 highlights opportunities across key horticulture value chains. The final week looks at consumer power and Ghana's roadmap to food sovereignty by 2030. Stay tuned to Joy FM and Joy News. Welcome to the program. Former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta's lawyers say his immigration status in the United States has now been adjusted to a permanent residency. This follows earlier reports that the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, detained him in January over alleged visa overstay. According to a statement released by his legal team hours ago, Ofori-Atta appeared before a U.S. court yesterday where the status has changed. Here's a statement issued by the law firm representing him. And it says Ofori-Atta's green card petition has been granted by U.S. Immigration Court. It continues to say that the court had evidence relating to actions taken by Ghana's Office of the Special Prosecutor, including the OSP's earlier decision to declare Ofori-Atta a fugitive from justice at a time when he was reportedly undergoing medical treatment in the U.S. and while his lawyers remained in communication with investigators here in Ghana. It continues to say that the court finds the criminal charges in Ghana not credible. However, the court's ruling was made within the context of a United States immigration proceedings. The court's decision was focused on whether Ofori-Atta met the legal requirements for adjustment of status. So that's the statement that was released by the lawyers of Ken Ofori-Atta here in Ghana. So what you see on your screen is the press statement that was released by a lawyer representing Ken Ofori-Atta, who now confirmed that he has been granted a permanent U.S. residency, what is commonly known as a green card. We've also been hearing from the Office of the Special Prosecutor here in Ghana, and in a social media post, the OSP says it has taken note of Ken Ofori-Atta's green card status, but insists it does not in any way nullify the extradition request against him. And that is what is projected on your screen right now. It says the OSP has taken note of media reports and the publication attributed to a law firm in Ghana that Mr. Kenneth Ofori-Atta has been granted permanent residency in the United States, resulting from an immigration court finding that it did not find the criminal charges filed by the OSP here in Ghana against Ofori-Atta credible. It continues to say that the OSP states that it is not involved in immigration hearings in the U.S. involving Mr. Ofori-Atta. It continues to say that the OSP's involvement is in respect of extradition proceedings against Mr. Ofori-Atta through the Attorney General as the central authority. And the OSP continues that the extradition packet is not before the immigration court, and the credibility or otherwise of the criminal charges against Ofori-Atta will be determined by courts here in Ghana who have jurisdiction to determine his guilt or innocence. Further, Mr. Ofori-Atta still remains a citizen of Ghana, and he is still amendable to be extradited to Ghana if so decided by the extradition. So that's the report we're getting from the Office of the Special Prosecutor hours after that news came out that Ken Ofori-Atta has been granted a green card. Meanwhile, joining sources indicate that the Attorney General, Dominic Ayini, is in the United States with the Department of Justice. The AG's office says he has not been made aware of the latest development. Let's go onto the telephone lines right now and speak to lawyer for Ken Ofori-Atta, Frank Davis. Welcome to the program, Mr. Davis. Can you confirm or otherwise for us that indeed Ken Ofori-Atta has been granted a green card in the U.S.?
Good afternoon to your cherished listeners. Oh, yes. Application petition hearing determined yesterday was a 2.5-hour long submissions from both ends of the divide, the Department of Homeland Security, Department of Justice, and then counterpart in the United States. After all the submissions table, Judge.
Mr. Davis, respectfully, can you kindly reposition yourself for me? I'm losing you.
Yes, I'm saying, can you hear me now?
Much better.
I'm saying, yes, there was a hearing yesterday, attendance on the application petition hearing for adjustment of Kenneth immigration or visa status in the United States. It was a 2.5-hour long submission from both ends of the divide, the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Justice, and our counterpart lawyers in the United States. The judge came to a reasoned determination and conclusion that Ken's application has met the merits, the requirements of the U.S. immigration law, and as such, his application for a permanent residence in the United States because so he has been granted permanent resident status. The United States, as you rightly informed the public, what we otherwise know as a green card.
Right. So what does this mean for his extradition process? Does it affect it in any way?
Well, I heard the teaser early on by you in respect of response from whatever from
the OSP.
Special Prosecutor. Yes, I am not about to involve myself in any banter with the Office of the Special Prosecutor, because all along the Office of the Special Prosecutor has not abided any known rules, practices, and processes. He has not done anything in accordance with due process of the rule of law.
Right.
And the court have determined the matter. This is the first step. Ken's immigration adjustment status in America has been determined by a court of competent jurisdiction in the United States in accordance with due process and the rule of law. I mean, that should be a matter which should engage the attention of the OSP than the publication he has put out. And please, I mean, we should not be coy about these things. He refers to a certain law firm. He knows the firm which issued the press release. So we should talk elegant language and let Ghanaians understand what is going on. This knee-jerk statements will not help. If they are saying that it has nothing to do with the extradition process, I am not about to engage in the fact that they should do what they have to do. The communication we put out was in respect of its adjustment immigration. We haven't spoken about extradition. If they are in the extradition, they should go ahead and do it. Why would Prof that is what has gone on? This is the information for the general public. And I think we should abide. When comes the other aspect, we should bring it on and we'll talk to it. So yes, Kenneth has been a permanent resident status. That is where we are now.
Right. There are a lot of questions that have started coming up since this news broke earlier. And one of them is that, does this mean that Ken Ofori-Atta is not returning to Ghana to face accountability? His corruption case, as we all know, is still pending in court.
Eva.
This is Kenneth.
Kenneth, sorry. You have similar words to. I have spoken to your media outlet so many occasions, and I've said time without number that as of today, after the adjustment status application hearing yesterday to today, and when the OSP started all the noise about Kenneth, he has as yet. He started with declaring a fugitive of justice, red notice alert. They have all suffered, shameful dismissal from those who are supposed to determine whatever there is to be determined in accordance with law. Okay? I have said from the outset, and I reiterate, that as of today, Kenneth Nanaya Kuntunkununku Ofori-Atta has not been notified of any criminal charges pending against him anywhere, whether in Ghana or in the Fiji Islands or the island of Miles or Solomon Islands. He has not been informed in any way whatsoever. So if the Office of the Special Prosecutor is that serious, they should take steps to notify Kenneth Ofori-Atta of the charges. When he is notified, we will speak to the matters involved.
Right. You are a lawyer, so we need some clarity on this. You say that he's not been formally notified. What are the processes for him to be notified? Can he be notified through you, his legal representative?
Please speak to the Office of the Special Prosecutor. You read whatever they had also put out. And you made certain comments concerning that. Speak to the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Okay. I don't speak for them. Okay. I speak for Kenneth Ofori-Atta. So speak to the Office of the Special Prosecutor. They will be in a better position to tell you what they want to do. Right. I can only speak for Ken when the matter comes.
Speaking of the OSP, though, the statement they released says that the grant of a green card does not nullify the extradition process. Do you agree with that position? And if so, why?
Speak to the Office of the Special Prosecutor. They issue the statement. So speak to them. And let them answer you.
This is a case also involving your client, and you are the one I'm speaking to this afternoon. That's why I'm asking you this question, Mr. Davis. Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you, Dad.
Yes, I need your thought on that. Yes, the OSP, they've released a statement which says that the grant of a green card does not nullify the extradition process. Do you agree with that position that has been taken by the Office of the Special Prosecutor?
So they should continue with the extradition proceedings. Why would they come out and say what they're saying? They should continue with the extradition proceedings. Who has stopped them? So if it has nothing to do with what has happened, and so what? They should continue. They should continue with it. Nobody has stopped them from pursuing the extradition proceedings, and we haven't stopped them. We don't even have the capacity to stop them. So if the processes are ongoing, you should go on and let us know what has happened. It's as simple as that.
So you mean they shouldn't have made it public?
Always trying to throw things in the public domain which do not answer to the merits of anything. I have said Kenneth Gyasi to date has not been notified of any charge.
Right.
That should be of prime concern to the OSP's office. If you have not notified someone of something, what is he come to answer?
Right.
So you mean all those who are the office of the special prosecutor has not been able to? I said this on authority as lawyer for Kenneth Gyasi, and I said it is absolute good faith that he has not been notified of any charge. That should be of concern to you, Kenneth or Kennedy or whatever. It should be of concern to you.
It is indeed of a major concern to me.
Yes, these are questions you should be asking the office of the special prosecutor, not us. We haven't brought anything on to ourselves. He has trumpeted all over Ghana that Kenneth is on the peril of being prosecuted in jail. So he should be answering these questions.
Right.
And I think it should be of concern to all of us as Ghanaians. And let me say one thing. Kenneth, Nana Akufo-Addo is not fleeing from criminal justice. Okay? When it matters the most, Kenneth Gyasi would make himself available one way or the other to answer to the charges preferred against him.
Right.
That is if he is notified. Okay?
Right.
And let me tell you this thing. Ken has been in this country, living with us for so long, until his challenge. He has faced 3 major inquiries in this country. He has gone unscathed. Yeah? The last one was a censor motion. So nobody should think that Kenneth Gyasi is fleeing from accountability as people are wont to throw in the public domain. If the proper legal steps are taken, due process and the rule of law code, Kenneth Gyasi would one way or the other answer to his charge. Okay?
Right. Well, critics argue that securing permanent residency abroad while, facing criminal charges in your home country of Ghana could be interpreted as trying to evade accountability. Do you see it that way?
Those critics are uninformed about nothing.
Tell me why.
They are uninformed and uneducated about anything legal. The courts in America did not make the determination in a vacuum. The courts in America did not make that determination in a vacuum.
Okay.
Indeed, when that determination was made, the state of Ghana had put in an extradition request, which was known to the federal justice system in America. The judge there did not do this oblivious of anything. I don't want to go into the depth of the hearing which went on yesterday. But I'll tell you, there were representations from the Department of Homeland Security. There were representations and establishments from the Department of Justice and our counterpart law. You think the judge did not take anything into consideration before coming to that conclusion? Hell no. So those who are beating that part should educate themselves better and inform the Ghanaian public with reasoned knowledge, not skepticism.
Right. I'm looking at the statement that was released by the lawyers of Ken Ofori-Atta, which you are, of course, a major player. Your statement highlights the court's decision on his immigration status. Why did your legal team deem it necessary to make it public at this time?
Why is it not a matter which has engaged notoriety in the Ghanaian public space? Why is Kenneth Gyasi no longer Ghanaian? He's a Ghanaian. So if something has happened involving him and the lawyers have put it that way, is there anything simple about it? There's nothing simple about it. It is communication. The world has to know what is happening to him. As he has been all over this month and years, declared a criminal fugitive from justice, where notice elect, all that. You think it is not proper for us as lawyers to also put out what is going on with him? Why should he always be one-sided?
Well, from U.S. Immigration Court schedule, we understand that it is stating that there is an upcoming master hearing slated for the 15th of July at 1 p.m., which will be internet-based. Can you clarify for us what this court hearing will be about?
The master hearing, so to speak, has been overtaken clearly by events. The master hearing was supposed to be a continuation of the proceedings in the High Court, and that had to do with a determination of the asylum application. And this is what was determined yesterday. So whatever will happen, they will get to procedure. It is just to affirm the decision which was handed yesterday.
Right. You stated earlier that Ken Ofori-Atta is not running away from justice, and that at the right time he is going to return to this country. I'm curious, what time will be right for him to return to Ghana?
Are you quoting me verbatim?
I'm paraphrasing what you said.
Paraphrasing what I said.
Yes.
I'm saying at the appropriate time, in whichever way or form, he would answer to his charge.
And when would that be appropriate? Yeah, I'm asking that because we were made aware, including yourself, that Ken Ofori-Atta went to the United States mainly on health grounds. We don't know his health status right now. That's why I want to find out. Perhaps you are predicting that when he gets better, that is when he's going to return to this country.
I'm not about to disclose his health status to you.
Say again? Come again?
It's private and confidential to him. I said I'm not about to disclose his health status to you. I don't have his mandate to do that. I'm only talking to legal matters. So I cannot divulge medical condition as of now. If they give me that mandate, I'll definitely stay with it.
So was his processes to gain permanent residency already in place before he was declared wanted by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, or it started right after the Office of the Special Prosecutor made that pronouncement?
If you've been following the narrative, he started and the Office of the Special Prosecutor was aware that he had applied for an adjustment of his visa immigration status. And that is what was determined yesterday.
So
we have been in exchange
of
correspondence with the Office of the Special Prosecutor. All these things have not been done in secrecy. It's been in the open. But the Special Prosecutor is always holding press conferences and speaking to this matter. So it's always in the open. Nobody has said anything from anyone.
Okay.
Didn't you know Ken had applied for an adjustment of his status? You knew. And the determination has been made yesterday. In accordance with due process, the rule of law.
Right.
And the recognizable immigration authorities law in America.
Right. So the impression that's sought to be created by a section of the public that this process started right after he was declared wanted by the OSP is false, you say?
Those who propagate news or tell stories should be asked questions about them. I have interest, so ask them. Now we all know the season week. So those who propagate those stories, I think should be the persons who answer to you. The card is now out of the back, or?
Probably.
Yes. I like your thoughts of what?
Mr. Frank Davis, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. He's one of the lawyers for former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta there. And if you're just joining the conversation, it is that the former Finance Minister has been granted permanent U.S. residency, what is popularly known as green card, to stay legally in the United States. In other stories this afternoon, the opposition New Patriotic Party is raising concerns over what it describes as a growing erosion of the rule of law and equal accountability In Ghana, the party alleges that state institutions are being used selectively against political opponents, while allies of the government benefit from what it calls backdoor acquittals, negotiated settlements, and preferential treatment. The MPP cites the discontinuation of several high-profile cases, including the Unibank and Saglemi cases, and is warning against any attempt to circumvent the conviction and sentence of former Maslock CEO Sedina Tamaklo outside the established legal appeal process. Well, the party has also challenged the implementation of the newly enacted Legal Education Act, arguing that the introduction of a mandatory pre-bar program is unlawful. Here are excerpts of the statement they released. And there you have it. It's a very lengthy one, but I'm going to make it brief. And it says that since the NDC assumed office on the 7th of January 2025, the MPP has observed a deliberate weakening of the institutions that protect the rule of law and equal accountability. It continues to say that since January 2025, YOCO, the Bureau of National Investigations, National Security, and the police have increasingly been turned against political opponents, journalists, and commentators through Rambo-style arrests, dawn raids, and punitive bail conditions, even as the bench was destabilized by the unprecedented removal of the former Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo, the Attorney General. Meanwhile, terminated a series of high-profile cases, some of which I've already mentioned. It says that it is against this background that we raise our gravest concern, the case of the former CEO of Maslock, Sedina Tamaklo, is among the most significant corruption prosecutions in Ghana's recent history. It continues to say that a 78-count charge sheet covering stealing, conspiracy, willfully causing financial loss to the state, money laundering, and procurement breaches was filed on the 30th of January 2019 after extensive YOCO investigations, and the court found a loss of nearly 90 million Ghana cedis. So that's the lengthy statement that has been released by the opposition MPP to that effect. Let's delve deeper into this, and joining me in the studio right now is former Deputy Attorney General Alfred Tuah-Yeboah. Mr. Tuah-Yeboah, welcome to the program. Good to have you in the studio. Well, the MPP has made several accusations that the law is being, selectively applied when it is to do with the MPP. We see it being stifled. When it's with the NDC, we see a kid's glove being applied. We'll delve into that, but you've been a lawyer as well. I want us to speak briefly on Ken Ofori-Atta's case. Now we understand that he's had a permanent residency in the United States. You heard his lawyer, Frank Davis, who I believe you're in good terms with, making the case for him. What's your initial reaction to all of this and the response by the Office of Special Prosecutor as well?
Thank you very much, my brother. Now, with respect to Mr. Ofori-Atta's matter, I think due process, what is the name of the game? And so if through due process, a decision has been taken in the US, we have to go by the decision. There was no, listening to Mr. Frank Davis, everything that they were supposed to do, they did it. The court has given a decision. And OSP in Ghana, as already indicated, they also have an outstanding matter in Ghana. And so nothing is stopping the OSP in Ghana from pursuing whatever pursuit they want to prosecute. The US court has made a decision. We must well accept it and then go by it. That's my comment on the Ofori-Atta's matter.
Well, your party, the MPP, says that there is a deliberate weakening of institutions that safeguard the rule of law. Give me evidence of your reasons for claiming such.
I mean, the evidence is so clear. Let's look at the way the former CJ Dantu state that it was well orchestrated, it was a political promise, it was an attempt by the ruling party to remove the CJ on flimsy grounds, and they did so. And I mean, that's the reason why we think that when it comes to the judiciary, if the CJ has been removed in this way, then who are you, a high court judge? So that kind of situation where judges may be panicking as to how they may be treated in the event that the ruling government decides that they want to remove them is something that is also weakening the system. And so far as the head has been removed on flimsy grounds, all other judges, I can say, may also be working under fear.
You also say that law enforcement agencies are being weaponized, especially against your party, the MPP. Why do you say so?
It's rather unfortunate that we've had the law enforcement agencies doing things the way they are doing it. Now I can cite examples. Let's take Iyoko.
Yeah.
It is as if when you are taken to Iyoko, you should be granted bail in the sum of at least 50 million Ghana cedis with justification. I don't remember last time during our regime that a person was sent to Iyoko and was made to have a bail condition in the sum of 50 million to be justified. But Iyoko is doing it. And in so many instances, we have people who have not been able to meet the conditions, having been kept in custody for over 48 hours. I mean, Mr. Master Kofi-Jime's case is a classic example. Even if you take Shatta-Wale, I mean, you not being a political person, look at the way he was treated. Look at the way Untubi and all others who were arrested and the way they were treated by Iyoko. You take the police service. Let me say the police service has been an institution that we've been working with since independence. They've been professional, but some stages you may have instances where people have been arrested and the way they are treated. For example, if you take people, Baba Amando, this young man taken all the way from Sunyani to Accra, just because he had posted something on Facebook. And also look at the way some of our communicators have also been arrested in Rambo style. Some of them, they travel all the way from Accra to Central Region. They just go and pick them, 5, 10 policemen going to arrest just one person because he had made a comment. And so gradually, it is as if that some of these institutions are trying to act on their own terms, contrary to what we have in the country as established protocols and then what we are supposed to enjoy as people. We are not saying that the state agents should not work. They should work, but they should work in accordance with law. Now, if you take national security, if you take BNI, look at how some people have been kept in custody. Look at how some people have been made to go through processes to secure bail. And if we were to go along that channel, I can assure you, my brother, that in the future, when people are arrested, it's going to be very tough for others, for them to be granted bail. But we do not think that's the way to go. The way to go is to go by what we have in our laws. People are granted bail based on certain conditions. And so, for example, if I'm arrested and the amount involved 50 million Ghana cedis, it does not mean that I should be granted bail in the sum of 50 million Ghana cedis to be justified. For you may know the charges against me may not be true. They can only just bring it up and then they say, go and get 50 million with justification. You cannot get it. This was happening. And that's the reason why as a party we think that we must bring it out for people to look at it carefully, discuss it, so that our state agencies will begin to know that they are being watched from afar.
There are those who say that law enforcement agencies are starting to use bail conditions as a weapon. Is that a sentiment you share?
Exactly the case. They are weaponizing bail. I mean, they are using that one to say that if you're unable to meet it, then you should be in custody. For example, give an example. Maybe you have 2 days to election, I'm contesting as an MP in a constituency, and allegations made against me that I've stolen maybe 100 million Ghana cedis. I can be arrested by the state agencies if they want to prevent people from contesting. The only thing they can do is that they will just set a condition that I cannot meet. We never thought that we'll get to this situation where state agencies want to use bail. I mean, in terms of Act 30, Section 96, it's so clear that bail should not be used as a form of punishment.
Okay.
But I've seen instances where bail has been used as a form of punishment. Conditions are so unreasonable and very onerous. People are unable to meet the conditions and they are kept in custody for days. This is something that we think as a people we should speak against.
Well, the Attorney General has discontinued a number of cases it inherited from your administration. Why does the MPP believe that these decisions undermine accountability?
As a party, we believe in accountability. And so when our brothers in government came up with oral, our understanding was that people were going to be made to account, not irrespective of their political colors. But we have seen instances, many instances where members of the ruling party have been left off the hook. And it is normal, let me concede, that an attorney general may want to withdraw a case or file a nolle prosequi. That is done in accordance with our law. But if you look at the instances and the cases that the AG decided to enter withdrawals, it gives cause for concern. Because the AG was so tactful that he looked at cases that the state, when we were in government, we had closed our case. I know by law, if we've closed our case and the AG decides to withdraw a matter, the judge has no option than to acquit the accused person. So the AG came to office, about 4 cases, decided to enter withdrawals, so that those people were acquitted, and then they are just going clean forever and ever, permanently. He could have used nolli prosequi if he wanted to show Ghanaians that, after all, I've inherited this case, I think I need to look at it again. I may want to enter NP, go back, look at it to see whether I need to come back or not come back. And so if AG had entered nolli prosequi in the 4 cases that the state had closed this case, the court could have only discharged those accused persons for the AG to go back, look at the dockets, and then come back. But the AG decided to write judgments for the court by his action of entering withdrawal. There was another case where the AG entered nolli prosequi, the Sagleme matter, and gave the reason that he saw the charge sheet to be defective and that there was the need to withdraw the matter and then come back. This particular case was withdrawn last year, January or February 2025. To date, nothing has been done. And so the question is the AG saying that accountability for only MPP folks and not for NDC folks? So that's what we are talking about, the double standard. If actually we want ORA to succeed, ORA must be colorblind. ORA should be applied to all of us, irrespective of political persuasions. But if we fail to do that, then ORA is nothing more but a political witch hunt too.
That brings me to Sedina Tamaklo. When she was extradited to Ghana, I spoke to you, and then you said that you had doubts as to whether indeed she will truly serve her 10-year sentence. Are these some of the reasons why you had such doubts?
It's exactly one of the reasons. And before I became Sedina, you remember Kevin Taylor? There was a warrant for his arrest. He filed a process at the Supreme Court. When he came, the learned AG, who represents all of us, did not contest that matter, did not file an affidavit to proceed to that matter. The Supreme Court had no option than to just let the gentleman walk free. And so, with respect to Sedina's case, she has been brought in. It's a process that we started. The US government has complied with our request by sending her back to Ghana. But as we sit here, I don't know whether we know where she is. Is she in prison custody? Is she in police custody? If in prison custody, which prisons? If in police custody, which police custody or cells? We don't know. And so now there's speculation. We've also seen the appeal filed by her, and we are concerned that if care is not taken, just like the way that they did in the Kevin Taylor case, the same thing may be before the state. Let us remember, the Office of Attorney General represents the entire Ghanaians. I mean, you and I, over 35 million Ghanaians, and not specific party people. And so if the same state has gone through trial for over 5 years or 4 years to get someone convicted, a person is brought back to Ghana, it is required of the AG that they also put up the resistance that they're supposed to put as prosecutors for the state. And so we are watching carefully. We are only saying that the judicial process must work, but any attempt to use any other means to soften the ground for Sedina should not be something that we should counter. That's why we're asking the question, where is she? Is she in the prison custody? Is she in police custody? And where? We don't know it. We don't know those things.
Those are questions, but do you have any idea where she could be?
We have no idea, apart from we being told that the police picked her up at the airport. That's all. And was undergoing medical screening. That's all. If she was undergoing medical screening for pregnancy, which I think is normal for any lady to go through when she's convicted, how long does it take for a pregnancy test results to come out? And so it's my expectation that by now she should either be in one of the prison custodies or if not there, in a police cell, but we don't have the information. And all of us must join in this chorus to find out where she is currently.
With the appeal that she's filed, is it possible that her appeal could hold and she could be let go?
We leave that one to the judiciary. She was convicted and sentenced by the judiciary. If she wants to go through the appellate process, she must go through the same judiciary. And I think the judiciary is the best authority to determine whether she should go scot-free or she should continue her sentence in prison. But speaking as a citizen and speaking as someone who prosecuted partly this particular matter, And from the facts and evidence on record, the judge did a marvelous work. You see, she was tried in absentia, conceded. But before that decision was taken, the judge had to wait for her for over 16 months before she finally ordered that the case should be heard in her absence. And even with that, the court ordered that she be served through various channels. 1, through her lawyer.
Okay.
2, through a copy should also be said, a copy should be posted at her last place known for abode in Accra or in Ghana. 3, it was published in the national dailies. Then 4, at the High Court Notice Board in Accra. All these things were gone through within 21 days. So it was after 21 days that actually the trial resumed. And so every single step that was supposed to be undertaken by the court was done. Her right to appeal is something that I cannot contest, but I'm also saying that with how watertight the judgment is, I expect the state to put up a very strong fight so that on the day, if you all believe in oral, then Sedinam's case should be a test case.
I want to put on record that we've made attempts to get some explanation from government and also the Attorney General's office as to the questions that the minority is asking of the whereabouts of Sedina Tamaklo, but we have largely been unsuccessful. We're still working on lines, though, to see if we can possibly get a reaction from government on these claims that the former Deputy Attorney General is making. There were some confusion as to whether or not Sedina will serve her 10-year sentence from scratch, or it is something that had started the moment she was sentenced. So now that she's been brought to Ghana, although you are asking questions, you don't know where she is. If she is in a Ghanaian prison as we speak, when does her 10-year sentence start? Immediately she was sentenced, or the moment she arrived in Ghana?
Her sentence starts immediately she was put under restrictions by the state authorities. And so the moment that she was arrested at Kotoka International Airport and kept in custody, if that was the case, then her sentence will start there. I've listened to other people who are arguing that if you look at our Criminal Procedure and Offences Act, I think section 315 or 315, and the argument is that, because the law has said that the sentence starts from the day that is pronounced, then it means that for the last 2 years that she's been away, she has effectively served 2 years. I mean, that cannot be the case. Because you see, if you take any piece of legislation, you look at how it was crafted and the intention and the rationale behind such sections. If you read those sections carefully, you realize that the drafted assumed implicitly that the person who has been sentenced was at the time of sentence in the custody of the court. And so if you are sentenced outside the custody of the court, you are sentenced to begin to run the very moment that you are arrested and kept in custody. Otherwise, if you were to interpret it to mean that the sentence will start the moment that the sentence is pronounced, then as a lawyer, I only tell my client, don't go to court tomorrow because it's possible that you may be sentenced. Run away. He runs away, I go to court, the judge may say, my client is guilty, he's sentenced to 5 years imprisonment. He may be away. They'll be searching for him, then maybe a day to the end of the 5 years, he will surface. He comes in, and then he spends only 1 day in prison. I mean, that would be so absurd. That's the very reason why I hold the view that her sentence begins from the day that was on the 9th, that she was allegedly brought to Ghana. I'm saying allegedly because I've not seen it, but I believe in what the government is saying, that she was brought to Ghana and then kept in custody by the security agencies.
Well, the government may also argue that the decision to discontinue cases lies with the Attorney General. Do you agree with that?
I agree. I do not contest that.
Yeah.
But if you are discontinuing a case as an Attorney General, you must also look at the surrounding circumstances. If, for example, you say that when you were in opposition, you heard an opinion that a certain case didn't merit the accused person undergoing prosecution, and by virtue of that, you are now the AG. You are going to transpose that kind of view to the effect that now we are going to discontinue matters. Then it will mean that if sitting here tomorrow I happen to have such a position, I may say, I will tell my clients, just wait. The moment I become the Attorney General, I will say, I believed in your story, and for that matter, all cases against you, we should discontinue such cases. I think that's the danger that we must avoid. The AG has the power to enter NP, no question. AG has the power to enter nolle prosequi, no question, but you must look at the reasons as he offered. If the learned AG had not offered reasons for the withdrawals, that was another matter. Now we don't even know why he wants to withdraw or wants to file a nolle prosequi. But in this particular case, he offered reasons, and we also reserve the right to also critique the reasons he offered. In the Saglema matter, which he entered nolle prosequi, he said because of defective charge sheet and the amounts were not adding up, we were expecting that he will go back, review the dockets with the attorneys in the office, and then come back. Even if he's coming back to charge him with only one count, that will be fair. But nothing has been said so far.
Will a future MPP government likely reopen these cases?
All outstanding cases that Ghanaians have actually been following all this while, and the AG has decided not to pursue. A change in government will certainly call for a review of those cases again, and if there is merit for it to be resurrected, why not?
Let's talk about legal education. The MPP describes the pre-bar program as unlawful. I want you to help me. Which provisions of Act 1170 do you believe are being breached at this point?
My brother, this one is also very simple. Now, we had Act 32 that regulated legal professionalist education. We now have Act 1170, an act that was passed by the current Parliament, and all parties, minority, majority, we all agree that that act is something that we need as a people at this point in time because of the growing numbers. Now, if you read the act, there is nowhere that you see a provision stating that students with LLB must do pre-law course. You can start from the first section to the last section. There isn't. And so the question is, if we are introducing pre-law course, on what basis are we going to run that course? The only provision in the act that we all look at is that if you hold an LLB degree, then instead of you going to write the entrance exams, you're not going to write the entrance exams. Rather, you go and do the professional law course, then you do the national bar exams, and you'll be called to the bar. There's no mention of pre-law course. So where is it coming from? That's why I'm saying that introduction is unlawful. And it's also traverses the act.
It appears that the MPP finds unlawful most of the decisions that have been taken by this government. What would you do about it right now with regards to this? Let's begin with this one.
We've raised it. That is unlawful, and it's our expectation that the learned AG, who happens to be the legal advisor to the government, will reason with us and advise the government to do the right thing. We may want to say, fine, we are not challenging it, but someone can also challenge it. I have not taken the decision to challenge it. The party has not taken the decision to challenge it. We are raising it for Ghanaians to know, for the learned AG, if he has not adverted his mind to that provision, for him to know that pre-law course is not part of Act 1170.
There's wide, suggestions among the MPP that with the alleged bail conditions which are being weaponized by the law enforcement agencies, if government changes hands, the NPP will be doing the same thing. I don't know if you've been seeing some of them on social media. Some even mention some names and say this person's bail condition will be 2 billion cedis, this person's bail conditions. People are saying that such suggestions are very dangerous, even if they are never going to happen, don't you think?
My brother, those are the opinions of people, but not the MPP. We believe in the rule of law. And so when we come back to power, we are going to use the law in regulating everything that we do. We will not say that if people previously were granted 50 billion or 50 million without justification or without any reasonable grounds, we should go along that direction. But we are going to implement or use the law in granting bail. If a matter merits 50 million Ghana cedis bail with justification, so be it. If it doesn't merit it, that's what I'm saying, if it merits.
Okay.
Because, for example...
So who determines
let me
whether it merits or doesn't?
Let me give you an example.
Okay.
Someone was charged when I was in office with over 1.2 billion Ghana cedis. We went to court, and the court granted that person 200 million Ghana cedis bail with justification. So you see, 1.2 billion, but 200 million. And so we may say it is reasonable. With that condition, it went to the Court of Appeal, it was reduced to about 10 million or 5 million Ghana cedis. But look at what has been happening for the last 12, 15 months. where people go in is 50 million with justification. We are condemning it. But if we come back to power, we will not abuse bail. We will not weaponize bail. Bail will be granted in accordance with law. There should be no instance where if you are the head of Iyoko, an accused person is before you, a suspect, he's granted bail, he's not able to meet it, then you let him go after 48 hours. You let him be in custody after 48 hours. By law, if you grant a person bail and within 48 hours he's not able to meet it, take the person to court for the court to look at it. In that case, you can see the court may say, I'm maintaining it or I'm reviewing it. That's how we build our democracies. But not systems where people decide to say, well, you 20 million Ghana's justification, you're unable to meet it, then 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you are in custody, unlawful detention. We will not countenance such things. We just want to go by what we have in our statute books.
This government campaigned largely on oral Operation Recover or Loot, which you have mentioned a couple of times during our conversation. Some say oral has really not lived up to expectation so far. What do you think about oral so far? Has it lived up to expectations?
Oral, in its concept, is something that we must all endorse, we must all support, because if you happen to be a public office holder, it is expected that at the end of your tenure, you'll be called upon to account for your stewardship. That's considered. And that if you account and then some monies have gone the wrong way, there must be a system where you must be investigated, if possible prosecuted, and then recover all the monies that you took. It's something that we all endorse as a party. However, if you look at this particular matter that we are talking about, our brothers in the NDC, when they mentioned oral, we were thinking that, oh, it's a very good concept that we all admire, but let's see what they do to existing case that they came to meet. They decided that they were going to just make sure that all their members who are undergoing prosecution should be set free. Then thereafter begin to arrest others to face prosecution. And so far as I'm concerned, or MPP is concerned, oral began to die the very moment that the learned Attorney General decided to enter NPs and then also file withdrawals in some of those high-profile cases. So you are coming in to prosecute people for what they've done. Then you, the same person, people that your predecessor had been able to prove their case against them, I call that order that they should open their defense. If some of them had even called 5, 6 witnesses, and the case was at the tail end, you decided to just file a withdrawal to let them go scot-free, and you think that that oral is something that people will see, will say is actually working. No. So if they want oral to work as we want it to work, those cases that they withdrew, I know that the AG cannot bring them back. The case that they file NP, those cases must come back. We're also watching what happens in the Sedna Temaklo case, because this particular Sedna's case over 90 million Ghana cedis. So if they cannot recover that money and decided, fine, we are not going to do anything, and then she walks free, who are you going to prosecute again under ORA?
So you see it to be a mere political talk when
as of now,
walking the talk.
As of now, that's how the implementation, they decide to weaponize it against their opponents. Their people have been given that kind of immunity that, for us, ORA does not concern us, ORA concerns the other side. That is the danger, and that's what we are condemning.
But most people are also saying that you are vehemently opposed to oral because, according to people, oral has started working by the arrest of political opponents, and they accuse the MPP of vehemently opposing it and branding it as a political witch hunt. So is that not double standards, you say?
In terms of concepts, as I said, the party believes in accountability.
Right.
But in its implementation...
you have a problem with how it's being implemented.
People are being arrested under the guise of ORA, while others are also being set free. And so if we're actually sincere about ORA and what it entails, it is, better that those people in power should also apply to their own, but not direct towards their political opponents.
Which people do you believe should have faced accountability but have been let go, but in the other end of the spectrum, people within the MPP are being made to face the law and people in the NDC are being let go?
Look at the 4 cases that are cited.
Which ones?
You can take the governor of Bank of Ghana, Mr. Dr. Asiama, his case. Cocoa Board case. You also look at the Senate case.
Right.
I mean, look at Ofosuampofo's case.
Sagleme case, is it part of it?
Sagleme case. So all these cases are cases that if you were to apply the standards, as we know in ORA, they must also go through the same process. But they are not going through that process. They have been left off the hook. And so, speaking for myself, not speaking for myself, I see ORA as a tool being used by this government to prosecute its opponents, but its own people are given the red carpet treatment to walk and go scot-free, as if ORA is not working.
Let's go back to the Sedina Tamaklo issue, because that is of national interest. You've mentioned to us that she has appealed the case. Will the MPP also possibly file an appeal to counter her appeal? Is that even a thing? Is it possible?
You see, if an accused person files an appeal, right, it is the duty of the Attorney General to also respond. And the Attorney General will respond on our behalf, whether MPP, NDC, CPP. And so our lawyer now is the Attorney General. And so we expect the Attorney General to do the right thing and not behave the way that it did in the Kevin Taylor matter.
And what is the right thing that you expect? The learned Attorney General, in your own words.
The learned AG should be able to file a response, appropriate response to the submission filed by Counsel for Sedina Tamaklo, and some of us will be reading the submissions. The learned AG must make sure that the Madam Tamaklo is in lawful custody until and unless a court of law sets her free. As we speak now, we don't know where she is. Is she in custody somewhere, hospital, or even a hotel, or at a private residence? We don't know. We expect.
Why would you think that she could be in a hotel, though?
We live sometimes you say this and people think that when Kevin Taylor came to Ghana, where was he? Kevin Taylor came to Ghana. At the time that he came, there was a warrant for his arrest. And so when he landed in Accra, was he arrested? The only thing we saw was that he was in court. And so if you have this kind of history, and you have another person who's having brought from the US to Ghana, and there's no information, don't you think that the inference that we can draw is that he may be given some kind of treatment somewhere?
Right. Okay, let's look at another issue. Your statement refers to the Unibank case as a quote, privately negotiated settlement. What concerns does the MPP have with the outcome of that particular issue?
When it comes to settlement, we passed the Plea Bargaining Act.
Right.
And in that act, we must always make sure that things are done transparently. In fact, under that act, if an accused person brings a proposal, the AG must also have a counter proposal, and if both parties agree, a court of law must endorse the agreement. In the 60-40 matter that we were talking about, that we just the AG said they had accepted 60%, and the 40% should be kept by the accused persons. On what basis was that accepted? What was the offer made by the accused person? In any event, I've seen a letter pursuant to an RTR request from the AG's office that has indicated that the amount that the AG said we are recovered from that particular case is not something they could confirm. But that's another matter. Everything that we do, if we want to settle matters, it must be transparent. It's something that if we go to the court, we're able to have it there. Unless the AG is telling us that those cases, or that particular case, he accepted it, the offer in his office, and decided not to prosecute the matter. But that also be something that I will not endorse, because per the Plea Bargaining Act, you can accept an offer and still not prosecute. Just go to court and then withdraw the charges. And so we are all living to see what the AG will do in future cases, whether he will accept the 60-40. If 60-40 is what we all have to go by, all accused persons must also be given the same treatment.
Do you think public confidence in the rule of law under this government is eroding?
It is. And I cite the example, or two examples. One is the removal of the learned former Chief Justice. Such an embarrassing removal. I mean, she did nothing wrong. A case where you had even a former or two former chief judges going to testify in support of a case that, no, this kind of things that you seem to prosecute her on is something that is done, and that's what we all did. But this understanding, she was removed. And so that's the first one. The second one is where you look at where people are arrested, and then they are granted some unreasonable bail conditions, and they are kept in custody for over 48 hours, sometimes 2 weeks. These two instances will even tell you that when it comes to rule of law, something is not going right.
The public perception that has always been in Ghana is that the judiciary always tolls towards the government in power. In fact, when you were in government, we often heard the NDC referring to the Supreme Court as, is it 9FC or something?
Unanimous FC.
Unanimous FC. And now that you are out of office, we've always heard the MPP also often accuse some judges. In fact, the minority leader, Alexander Fenyomakin, and some MPs have been very vocal against some judges that they are towing the line of the NDC. Is it the case that judges or the judiciary is often not independent of itself when a ruling government is in power? They always toe the line of a certain government when it's in power?
I believe in the independence of the judiciary. As a party, we also believe in the independence of the judiciary. Unlike our brothers in government, who decided to tag a whole Supreme Court unanimous FC. In the two cases that you cited, specific judges were mentioned. So it was as if they were talking about the entire judiciary.
Okay.
But in their case, they were tagging the entire judiciary as being part of the ruling party then. And that's the thing that as a people we should not be doing. But as judges too, they are also accountable to the people. And so as an individual judge, if you decide to act in a way that will open up the space for people to criticize you, then that's your own cup of tea. But if you are to go by your rules of engagement and how you are supposed to dispense justice, and you do it, I mean, nobody will come after you. But as a party, we believe in the independence of the judiciary. We do not believe in tagging the entire judiciary as unanimous FC or being partisan, unlike our brothers in the NDC. We believe that that's the only way that we can build our democracy.
This will be my final question to you. That is because the Black Stars are playing tomorrow. We know, I don't know if you've heard of Thomas Partey's issue. Canada has said that they will not allow him into the country because of some allegations that he's facing in the UK. How do you think Ghana should approach it? They are currently in court right now. How do you think we should approach it?
Yes, when I read that story, I was just asking myself, where lies the presumption of innocence? But that presumption of innocence, we carried from the English people as part of our common law. And so if Canada is part of the Commonwealth and the part of the common law, they also believe in presumption of innocence. The fact that parties are undergoing prosecutions in the UK does not mean that he is guilty. But by their decision, it means that so far as you are undergoing criminal prosecution anywhere, you cannot enter Canada. If they have that one, which I think that's the case, in their laws or in their statutes, they must review it. Otherwise, it is defeating the purpose of presumption until proven guilty. I've seen the Foreign Affairs Ministry come out with a statement on it. I think we must make sure that we go through those diplomatic channels. And I'm just hoping and praying that the court proceedings today will give us a positive result for the party to join his brothers in Canada for our first match tomorrow.
Alfred Trey, we're glad you could join me this afternoon.
My pleasure.
He's a former Deputy Attorney General in the Akufo-Addo government there. You're still watching The Pulse here on Joy News. We return from the break with more. Don't go anywhere.
Did you know that Ghana currently spends more than 8 billion Ghana cedis annually importing food that can be produced locally? That is why this June, Joy Business and the Super Morning Show, in partnership with the Federation of Associations of Ghanaian Exporters, FAGE, bring you the Joy Agribusiness Month 2026 under the theme, From Soil to Sovereignty, Building Ghana's Agricultural Self-Reliance Through Innovation. Join us on the Joy Super Morning Show, Joy News, and across Joy Business platforms platforms for a month-long national conversation on Ghana's food security and agribusiness future. Week 1 focuses on government policy, trade and financing for food sovereignty. Week 2 explores research, innovation, mechanization. Week 3 examines infrastructure, value addition, youth participation and agricultural financing, while Week 4 highlights opportunities across key horticulture value chains. The final week looks at consumer power and Ghana's roadmap to food sovereignty by 2030. Stay tuned to Joy FM and Joy News.
This Father's Day, give Dad more than just a gift. Give him an unforgettable experience. Join the Joy brands for the Joy Safari Escape, the ultimate weekend getaway created to celebrate fathers and father figures on 20th and 21st of June. Enjoy a premium escape filled with relaxation, adventure, music, great food, and quality family time. Your experience includes breakfast courtesy from Safari Homes, complimentary bus service to and from Aqua Safari because we care about your comfort, luxury night stay at Aqua Safari, scenic river tours and boat cruises, fish and tortoise feeding experience, underwater cave viewing, eco park adventure with amazing wildlife encounters, buffet meals, island party with live band entertainment, swimming pool, archery, board games, lawn tennis, endless vibes from our DJs, and fun activities for the kids too. So bring along the entire family. Rates are going for 4,000 Ghana cedis single, 6,000 Ghana cedis double, and 10,000 Ghana cedis for a family of 4. Book now or make enquiries by calling or WhatsApping Lois on 053 100 3813. The Joy Safari Escape, June 20 and 21. Joy Safari Escape, 1 weekend, endless memories. The Joy Safari Escape is powered by Hits FM and Joy Prime.
To dance with my father again.
Welcome back. We will be delving into some education stories later in the bulletin, but in the meantime, the third prosecution witness and lead investigator in the high-profile Tano Nimre illegal mining case, Chief Inspector Eugene Glover, has told the Criminal Division of the Accra High Court under cross-examination that the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Bernard Ntriboisiako alias Chairman Wontumi, gave instructions for mining operations to be undertaken within the protected forest reserve. Chairman Wontumi and his company, Akonta Mining Limited, are standing trial on multiple charges, including allegedly engaging in illegal mining activities within the forest reserve without lawful authorization. Lead counsel for Chairman Wontumi, Andy Apiakobi, has been reacting to the proceedings in court.
It has been another day, and we came to Criminal Court 1 in respect of Nimri Forest. We tried to establish the evidence to the fact that Chairman Wontumi has never stepped on the said Nimri Forest, never. And the evidence on record suggests same. The witness has admitted that, and again, even in his investigations, none of the people that he talked to ever mentioned that Chairman Wontumi has ever come to the site. He has never taken any of the equipments there to operate. He has never also felled any trees, and therefore, according to the witness, Chairman Wontumi is unknown on the Nimri Forest Reserve. The witness says that the security personnel who went there were confronted by armed men with first prosecution witness leading them, and that they managed to retrieve even ammunitions that security personnel had prior to the confrontation taken from legal miners on site. We asked whether they investigated the ownership of these ammunitions. The answer is no, they did not. We asked where the equipments are or the ammunitions are. They don't know. We asked whether the ammunitions are exhibits in this case. They don't know. They are not exhibits, except pictures of munitions. Okay, so we also asked where they took these pictures, and he said Memory Forest. We referred them to a video recording, and they admitted it was the evidence they tended, exhibit they tended, and he admitted that it was recorded by the police department, and we ended on the fact that the same video suggests that the location is rather Samraboy, not Nimri Forest. This is where we ended. So we will come back on the 29th to continue the cross-examination. And when we finish, maybe we'll see at that point where we are and how to progress.
Yes, Chairman Wontumi was never at
Yes. So we ask questions of proof of direction. There's no such evidence on the, except they look at the conjectures of Chairman Wontumi, and probably because they think that Chairman Wontumi is well known there. So there was no proof of direction, according to them, written or recorded. But he thinks that there is some evidence of direction. So we are waiting for them to prove there's evidence of direction. We even asked whether Chairman Wontumi has ever driven any of the equipments on site. The answer is no. So apparently, from the evidence, Chairman Wontumi is unknown on the Numeri Forest. But they also...
Let's now shift our focus to education, because the Ghana Education Service has interdicted a science teacher at Boli Senior High School in the Savannah region after he was captured on video kissing and fondling and having sex with a final year student inside a school laboratory. The footage, recorded by a third party from outside the laboratory, has since gone viral and sparked public outrage. In a statement issued by the Ghana Education Service, the GES said the interdiction takes immediate effect and will remain in force pending the outcome of investigations. The service noted that the action is in line with its disciplinary procedures governing teacher misconduct. And here is what the service has been saying so far. And it says the management has initiated investigations into the matter. It also continues to say that it strongly condemns all forms of amorous relationships between teachers and students. The service reiterates its zero tolerance towards sexual misconduct and cautions all staff to uphold the highest standards of professional ethics and conduct at all times. It concludes by saying that the public is assured that the matter is being treated with the utmost seriousness. Further updates, where necessary, might be provided as investigations progress. Daniel Fenyi speaks for the Ghana Education Service and is joining me on Zoom right now for more on this. Daniel, welcome to the program. Also joining this conversation will be a rep from UNICEF Child Protection. She's called Hilda Mensah. Lady and gentlemen, welcome to the program. I want to begin with you, Daniel. What does your GES policy say about cases of sexual misconduct between a teacher and a student as this?
Indeed, good afternoon, and let me say a very
Hello, Daniel. Do I have you?
Hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can, loud and clear.
All right, thank you for the opportunity. Indeed, for us as Ghana Education Service, we take a very strong exception to sexual relationship between students and teachers. We are of the view that in the school, the teacher is the parent to the students. And as a parent, you are there to mentor, you are there to guide, you are there to teach, you are there to shape them. In fact, our assumption is that at that stage of their lives, the students are vulnerable. They are curious, they are asking questions, they are exuberant, energetic, but don't know where to channel their energies. And so it is at this point in their lives that the role of the teacher becomes extremely essential, because they come in to teach and guide them. Now, if you take advantage of the authority you have, if you take advantage of the position you have as a teacher and lure these young ones into sexual activities and misconduct, you have breached the code of conduct of the profession. In fact, accepting to join the noble profession of teaching implies that you accept to go by every code of conduct, every rule and regulation that guides the noble profession. And so if you go against the rules, obviously, as Ghana Education Service, we take you on. Yesterday, the attention of management of the service was drawn to this video circulating, allegedly of a teacher and a student of Boli Senior High who were seen in a sexual activity. As Ghana Education Service, we condemn the video, the exercise, the activity in all certain terms. It is disgraceful, it is distasteful to the service, it is a dent on the integrity on the Ghana Education Service and the teaching fraternity. There are a lot of very disciplined teachers in the system. There are a lot of teachers who are noble in the system. And these outliers, these people, come in to destroy and tarnish the image of the entire teaching profession.
Right. Okay.
We do not take it lightly at all. So we have launched investigations into the video and, for that matter, the misconduct. Even as we wait for the outcome of the investigations, we believe the teacher should step aside, because we don't know what his presence in the school and what his associations with some of the students and the school environment might have on the investigation processes. And so in order to avoid interruptions, in order to avoid interferences, in order to avoid compromises, we have asked that the teacher steps aside whilst investigations take place.
Have you been able to identify the age of the student involved?
We are yet to. In fact, I should mention that at the district and the regional levels, that is where the investigations are currently ongoing. You know, for the national level, it is when district and regions are done thoroughly with this investigation, then they submit a report to us, and then based on the report and the recommendations of the various committees, then sanctions are given out. So at the moment, some of these details would be confirmed as time goes on, but I can confirm to you that serious investigations are underway. We want to get to the bottom. Indeed, the video tells or shows some misconduct, but we want to move beyond the video and have interactions with the teacher involved, interactions with the students involved, even some eyewitnesses, those who recorded the video and all that, the head teacher of the school and all relevant persons we believe can support with important information that can help us to conclude or come to the finality of this issue.
Have you reported the matter to the police?
indeed, it has been reported, and of course, even beyond the police, as Ghana Education Service, we are undertaking this exercise, of course, within our rules and regulations, and of course, the security agencies. We work very closely with them in matters of such nature. We work closely with the security agencies to make sure that together we come to a very robust finality or conclusion, so that the necessary sanctions, if possible, could be afforded whoever is culpable.
Aside from the persons who recorded the video, who you say you've begun questioning, who else have you started questioning? Because we understand that this amorous relationship between the student and the teacher was an open secret. Everybody in that school knew. Have you questioned the head teacher, for example? Who else have you questioned?
I should mention that everyone that we believe could help us with some more information. So at this point, at least for us as Ghana Education Service, we will not meddle with rumors. We are doing the investigations, and we want to, if we are making a statement, make statements that are confirmed from our investigations and interrogations with all persons involved. So as to their relationship is an open secret and all that. For now, our investigations are still ongoing. And indeed, as I mentioned, it is not even the head teachers and some of the students we are engaging. Yesterday, we reached out to the Savannah Regional Educational Directorate. You know, it happened in the Savannah region, and then the district level as well. So even these levels are answering various questions. And so we believe that everyone who could help us to get to the bottom of the issue would be engaged, would be interrogated, for us to be able to take a final decision on this. Yes.
Right. You say that you have interdicted the teacher. What has happened to the student?
You know, when the issue of sexual misconduct takes place, the student normally is deemed a victim in the circumstance. We believe that the teacher is held to the highest standards of the profession, and he is the one trained, who has gone through training, and he is supposed to know better at every given circumstance than the student, for obvious reasons. And so for the students, the guidance and counseling coordinators in the school, at the district level, at the regional levels, are activated to support the student. Having your videos, your pictures, your images all over the world for somebody who is here to enter the world of work, somebody who is completing senior high school, the emotional trauma, the psychological trauma, and all that. And so we have activated our guidance and counseling systems, made it available so that she goes through the necessary psychosocial support, even as we undertake the investigations as well.
Daniel, don't go yet. Also joining this conversation is UNICEF Child Protection Specialist Hilda Mensah. Hilda, welcome to the program. This is not the first time Ghana has recorded cases of teachers sexually abusing teenage girls. Before we examine the causes, tell us the numbers. Based on UNICEF's work, how widespread is this problem? Hello, Hilda. Kindly unmute your microphone so we can hear you. Hello, Hilda. Do I have you?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Thank you for having me on the show, and of course, on an instance where it's a very disturbing story.
Hello, Hilda.
To go in circulation immediately is that annually when you take the police crime statistics, you have more than 1,000 children or girls who have been defiled. And then you can look at also the reported cases on rape. And when they unpack the number of 17 and 18-year-olds in there, and you add it to the number of defilement cases, you know that it's quite a very high number. And so it's a very disturbing trend. In terms specifically of the number of sexual abuses that occur at schools, I do not have the immediate figures, but that I can get for you later.
Right.
Later on.
And what are some of the key factors driving these cases of sexual abuse involving schoolgirls?
Oh, there are many cases that are driving these. One is because teacher-student relationship is already a power relationship. It's an unequal relationship, and teachers have a lot of authority and control over students. And so it already sets the point that there is an unequal relationship. But they also hold a position of trust. Students trust teachers to guide them. And there are instances where the warning signs may be there. Immediately, there are exceptional treatment of a particular student. You should be concerned about that. Gifts, award of marks, and isolated classes being held for students. There are warning signs that gives indication that there may be some relationship ongoing. Now, what are some of the reasons? It's important that we enforce professional boundaries. Like that Mr. Afenyi was talking about code of conduct. To what extent is the Ghana Education Service enforcing those code of conducts? The boundaries, are they very clear to teachers? Do students have a place to report? Do warning signs, are we heeding to warning signs? When we see a teacher having a relationship, a favoritism relationship with a young student, they are all warning signs. Do we heed to it? Are there consistent training for the teachers that reminds them of their role in the student's life? So, and are there reporting mechanism? When the students do report at all, do we trust them enough? Or we trust the teachers over the students? And so these are issues that are of concern within the school environment. This particular occurrence, the news is disturbing. And we can look at it at three levels. At the individual level, we need to hold the teacher to account, because for a student, we cannot expect that the student would naturally consent. We cannot deem the student as a participant in this misconduct, because we expect the teacher to have a certain authority over the student. But we can also look at it at the institutional level. It's clear indication that at the institutional level, there seem to be some weaknesses that makes it difficult for us to enforce the code of conduct. Plus, at the societal level, when we see a younger person having a relationship with an adult, what is society's attitude towards that? And so these are the levels at which we need to have the conversation and see what are we not doing right and what we need to do right. Clearly, this is unacceptable. We need to begin to revisit the teacher's code of conduct and see whether there are sufficient measures that holds them at a very high moral standard that they cannot have a relationship with students. And what would the communities also think? The trust that we have in the teachers, the school environment, to protect our children, that trust is also broken. And so it provides a lot for concern, I must say.
Right. And with this one, we understand that it was a consensual relationship. So could this be described as a sexual abuse?
I mean, first thing, it is an abuse because it's a student, and it's a teacher. There is already a power relationship. The teacher has authority, complete authority over a student. And we cannot have any expectation that a teacher will have sexual relationship with a student. More so, parents have entrusted the care of children into the hands of teachers. Immediately the children report to school. Their safety, their development, their academics is all in the hands of a teacher. And so that is a very high level of trust that has been, bestowed on teachers.
Right.
Our expectation is that they protect them, guide them, teach them in a way that they grow responsibly and thrive in society. Anything short of that is below the belt and clearly unacceptable. Apart from that, it also depends on, I'm not sure what the age of the student is,
right?
But it potentially also brings into mind immediately some of criminal offense concerns. And so broadly, I mean, this is clearly very worrying.
Right.
And we can also not look at this as an isolated issue. It also gives an indication that there are many more of...
Hello, Hilda.
Such abuses of quite a number of our school environment. To do an audit of our schools, do we have adequate safeguarding measures in place that allow students to feel safe, but also to report if they are being threatened or abused? You know, so Ghana Education Service needs to do an audit again. And are the code of conduct sufficient to protect the student? Are they sufficient to hold the teachers in check in the way that they conduct themselves with the student?
Right.
And also remember there was an earlier also incident about some boys also being sodomized also in the northern sector. And so that puts both boys and girls in danger. If professional boundaries are not strictly enforced, if reporting mechanisms are not confidential for students to be able to trust that they can report and there will be measures taken, child protection or protection policies, are they adequate in the school for the students to feel that they are safe and that they could also report and there will be redress? These are questions that we should raise. Beyond that, I think that there has to be an independent investigation into the matter and the proper mechanisms with proper recommendations that makes the school much more safer for our young girls.
Hilda, don't go yet. Let me bring back Daniel Fenyi, who speaks for the Ghana Education Service. There are already concerns that this is a widespread issue that is in many schools. You see teachers and students in amorous relationship. Now, Hilda has made us aware that regardless of what happened or what the age of the girl is, this is a sexual abuse because clearly there's someone in the high authority who is coercing the lesser one, which is the student. Have you put enough measures on campus to protect students from sexual predators like the one you got?
Yes, indeed. Let me emphasize that so far as the Ghana Education Service is concerned, and so far as our code of conducts are concerned, there's nothing like consensual sexual affair between student and teacher.
Okay.
Even if the student agrees or the student agreed to the act, there's nothing like that. Because there are a lot of nuances that could make a student succumb to sexual impressions from the teacher. And for those nuances, you cannot measure them as being merit, nuances that are on merit. So for example, a teacher taking advantage of his authority as a teacher, as a mentor, as a guide, somebody the student look up to, right? When you approach these students, sometimes they fear to tell you no because they feel you might punish them, you might beat them, you might not even in class when you are asking questions and all that. And so there's absolutely nothing like consensual sexual affair between a teacher and a student. Once the student is in your school, under your care, you have no right. In fact, you are like a parent to the student. So just as the biological parents do not have any right of sexual affair with the student or with their ward, same way you, the teacher, also do not have any right to have any sexual engagement with them. So let us underscore that there's nothing like consensual sexual affair between a student and a teacher so far as the Ghana Education Service and our conduct or ethics are concerned. That's one. Number two, as a teacher, accepting the appointment to become a teacher and accepting to join the noble profession of teaching, you also accept our rules and regulations. Right? And this is a very noble profession. This is a profession that immediately you are seen as a role model, you are shaping destinies, you are shaping minds, you are grooming future leaders and all that. And so some of these misconducts come to extremely disturb the entire teaching profession. We are here and almost saying that this thing happens almost everywhere. Meanwhile, there's one teacher who has misconducted himself. But look at how all other teachers, by now there's another teacher constantly carrying out his duties and going about his work. But look at how this misconduct has now affected this innocent teacher. And it is because of this misconduct from this teacher. And so for us as Ghana Education Service, we do not take these matters of sexual engagement lightly at all. Don't forget that just a week ago or so, there was massive discussions on indiscipline in schools, right, where a female student stood and fought with a teacher. And we had to come in and talk about indiscipline and all that. Now, if you perpetuate such acts, if you engage the female student in sexual activities, how do you as a teacher instill discipline in them when you are actually perpetuating immorality with them? And so it is not acceptable on any level in any score at all, so far as we are concerned. In fact, that's the more reason normally our immediate reaction is to step them aside, interdict them, push them somewhere, so that investigations could go on without interferences, without interruptions, without anyone compromising or negotiating with anybody backdoor. We ask you to leave the school premises, leave the campus at all, so that investigations could go on smoothly, whilst the female student involved here is also exposed to psychosocial support, is exposed to guidance and counseling to help them. You know, as I mentioned, there's a young student who is in high school. Our initial report indicates that a third-year student who is just about to enter the world of work. See the image she has put herself out there, and see the criticism, see the comments. She is all over the world. And so for such a vulnerable student like that, definitely psychosocial support, guidance and counseling support, just to help her regain her confidence, just to help her integrate back into the community and all that. And you know, some of these things, it goes to the extent that sometimes you have to even move the student out of the community, just so they could find themselves in new environment and be able to adapt and be able to regain themselves and move on in life. And so we do not take this lightly at all, and we are going to get to the bottom of it, ask all the questions, interrogate all the persons, and make sure that we get to the finality and the necessary sanctions are accorded to anyone found culpable.
Daniel, are there complaints units in the various schools so that students are afforded the opportunity to lodge complaints if they face such challenges?
Yes, at the student level, there are focal persons, even at the student level, that they, if they are not comfortable reporting to teachers, because over the years, the observation is that sometimes if a teacher perpetuates such an act and they report to another teacher, that teacher or those teachers do not take it with that seriousness. So there are student level focal persons who help these students who go through said traumatic experiences, report to them, and they take it up from there. So that's the first leg. The second leg is also that now our guidance and counseling unit, though there's more to be done, have some level of visibility. And so these guidance and counseling coordinators who are placed at the various senior high school, district levels and regional levels are also available for these learners to report such situations to them. And then also, so these are two levels. And then also there are teachers on campuses who have personal engagement, all right, or motherly engagement, fatherly engagement with these students. There are some teachers that the parent, the biological parent or guardians of these students go to the schools and then ask them to monitor their daughters, monitor their sons for them. These are also persons that students sometimes feel comfortable reporting to because they believe this teacher is already in touch with my parents, and so if I report anything to the teacher, it will go to my parent, it will go to higher ups to take some immediate or initial actions.
Let's stay within the Bole Senior High School, because we're getting indication that this amorous relationship is a bit widespread on the campus, that if you are to conduct an investigation on a larger scale, you might name more than one teacher. With specifics to the Bole Senior High School, are there such complaints unit in place, and how effective is it?
Yes, so as I rightly mentioned, for now, the unit that accepts, that takes concerns from children, students, learners who go through such experiences. The first and normally the immediate unit is a guidance and counseling unit, because for them, they are trained to understand the psychology of the student. They are trained to understand some of these traumatic experiences, and so immediately they are able to offer what we consider first aid intervention for these students, whilst they also report to the higher up. So the immediate level is a guidance and counseling unit. Are they effective? There's more room for improvement. There's actually more room for improvement, but I can assure you that there's a level of visibility now as compared to many years ago, where you will go through all your 3 years of senior higher education and you would never even meet your guidance and counseling coordinator, or you would never even hear of such person. Now the visibility is okay, even though, as I said, there's more room for improvement. Now there's some form of visibility. So yes, in terms of effectiveness, it can improve. Right. It can improve, but there's considerable level of effectiveness in the system. Yes.
There are also concerns that instead of waiting for some of these things to come on social media, to come to light before the Ghana Education Service acts, why don't you pay, impromptu visits to some of these schools, do your own personal checks? In that case, there are those who believe that you might get unprecedented number of teachers who are engaged in such relationships with students. Is the GES considering that, or do you even do that at all?
In fact, we do a lot of impromptu visits.
And what has been the outcome?
Yes, so I should mention that different factors call for these impromptu visits, and so as management, we don't always go because of sexual related issues. Sometimes we go because of food issues, water issues, classroom tables and chairs, sometimes absenteeisms recorded in some places. So various issues. Of course, it is expected, right, that as management, because you oversee all the various aspects of the sector, different factors will cause you to visit different schools at different times. And I can tell you that almost every week there's a visit to 1 or 2 schools to ascertain for ourselves direct information and direct observe for ourselves what is happening on the grounds. I should say that, yes, when you go to the various senior high schools, this case might not be an isolated one. You might find some others here and there, except that where we have not gotten, of course, as management, where we have not gotten concrete information, where we have not delved into the issues, where students, even though are encouraged, or where the guidance and counseling coordinators in the schools have not observed, we don't also want to create one there as though there are they are there, but as management, you don't go and see or you don't go and catch them. There are already focal persons, as I mentioned, and these focal persons are students, colleague students, so they are not teachers. They are focal persons already in the schools who engage their colleagues, and in fact, they are actually trained as well. So they are not just some sampled colleagues who are in the schools. They are focal persons trained and who support.
Okay.
Also guidance and coordinators in the system who are also supporting. So yes, by and large, I think there's some fair and decent amount of monitoring and observations in the system. And once we get hints, once we see, once we observe any of such issues, we step in quickly to make sure it is settled. Yes.
Daniel and Hilda, please don't go yet. Also joining this conversation is Dr. Isaac Nyako, who is a clinical health psychologist at the University of Environment and Sustainable Development. Doctor, welcome to the program. Let's look at the psychological well-being of usually the students involved. We've been made to understand that what happens is that they are usually coerced because the teacher has more power over you. They can threaten you that if you do not, succumb to this relationship, I may fail you, I might do this or that to you. Let's look at the psychological effects this has on students who are usually engaged in such relationships with their superiors at school.
Thank you very much to your viewers and listeners this afternoon. Ideally, it's quite unfortunate and that some of these incidents are happening. In instances where students are pressured into some of these amorous relationships, sometimes it most of the time affects their psychological well-being and even their ability to concentrate in school and whatever that they are doing. And it is often not the best, especially in contexts where an environment has not been created for the student to willingly come out to share some of these experiences. So if they find themselves in situations where they are unable to share most of these pressures, then automatically it is going to, the trauma is going to be with them for the greater part of the time that they are in school because they cannot do anything about it. Yeah.
I think it's usually very traumatic if a teacher approaches a student that I want to have a relationship with you, because if you accept it, you are in trouble. If you don't, even worse. How should students approach such advances?
Yes, thank you very much. It's really traumatizing. I mean, being asked to do something that you don't wish to do or you don't want to engage yourself in it. Ideally, we must try as much as possible to create that enabling environment. Students must have that free will. I mean, I know there are counseling units on campuses and other psychosocial support units on campus. Students must have that free will to come up willingly to share whatever experiences that they are going through that they know that it is not pleasant for them. Even apart from all these sexual and amorous relationships, anything that borders on their psychological well-being, the counseling unit must be willing and ready, and I know they are willing. The sensitization must also be going on all the time, encouraging the students, both boys and girls, to always come out of their shells, to share some of these experiences so we can curtail the experiences that they are going through. If it is not dealt with, it can create some kind of trauma throughout their entire life, and they may end up with different sort of personalities later in their life.
What is more surprising is that usually parents are the last people to know about anything like that. Why do you think that students usually keep this a secret from their parents?
Yes, sometimes parents is the kind of relationship that we have established with our children. If parents have ideally established a relationship where children are free to call on them without any form of judgment, then they'll be ready. If my father doesn't listen to me, my mother will listen to me. But for the fear of victimization, the fear that a parent may be too judgmental and may not even listen to the child and just straight away go on punishing the child, not even physical punishment, the verbal abuses, the insults that they will rain on them. it all forms part of it that the children are unable to open up. But I believe that if you have established a healthy relationship with your child, and at the end of the day you open up, they can come to you at any time, discuss everything with you without any limitations, you'll be the first point of call. For example, some will come home and tell you, Mom, I have a problem. Or even you don't even wait for your child to even open up. You could see from the demeanor of your child that there is something bothering your child. You ask, hey, my child, what is the problem? Just let me know. Let me know everything that is happening. And these are adolescents. So they will tell you, Mom, this is the situation in school. How the parent also approaches it is also another issue, that if they do not approach it in a manner to protect the integrity of the child, then it's some form of losing control. So if my parents will not have anything to do about it, or they will shame me, or they will punish me, or verbally abuse me, then I keep things to myself. That is why people end up sharing with their friends, and most of the time, for want of evidence and other things, these videos will come in and it goes out.
Right. Dr. Kwache, don't go. Let me bring back Hilda from UNICEF. Hilda, the widely available access to pornographic material, it's everywhere these days, even on social media. Do you think it's a contributing factor to all of these things going on?
It is really a contributing factor. In fact, I was going to say that technology facilitated crimes against persons is rife, because now we have ready access to internet, we have use of devices, young people have access to devices, and the social media platform has become a platform where people use it as a punitive measure against others. And so somebody records something about you, and the next minute you are threatened, you are sextorted, you are cyberbullied, you know, and the next minute it's all over on the media space. I think that we need to carry out a lot of education, because the internet does not forget. It's a footprint. Whatever you put there will live there ages to come. And so imagine young persons whose videos such as these are on the social media platforms. It would chase them. It's reputational harm which is being caused to them. And so people have to be responsible in the way that they conduct themselves, both physical space and in the virtual space.
Right.
So yes, the easy access to pornography, it's a worrying factor. But what does that mean? Internet is here to stay with us. Students will learn, they would research, they would connect. And so it's there. We can't do anything about it. But what we can do about it is the responsible use of the internet. If you are going to go on the internet and all you do is to watch pornography when you should be learning, that is unacceptable. And so throughout our education space, the family space, we need to have these conversations with our young people. The responsible use of internet is a must-have conversation, so that people can conduct themselves better than they are doing.
Hilda Mensah, glad you could join me this afternoon. She is with UNICEF. She's a child protection specialist. And earlier we heard from Daniel Fenyi, who is the spokesperson for the Ghana Education Service. We also heard from Dr. Isaac Nyako Kwache, who is a clinical health psychologist at the University of Environment and Sustainable Development in Somenya. We're still on education, though. Enrollment at Pualarido DA Basic School in the Tatale Sanguli district has almost doubled after a new 6-unit classroom block replaced the dilapidated mat structure where pupils once learned. The transformation followed a Joy News report that drew attention to the school's poor learning conditions. But as the community celebrates the gains, school leaders say enrollment onto the school feeding program will be key to sustaining the progress. Emmanuel Jivenu has more in episode 3 of Crumbling Start, season 2.
Every morning, pupils of Akufo-Addo DA Basic School in the Tatale Sangole district gather for assembly in front of their new classroom block.
Great. Good morning, teachers. Good morning, friends. We are the best of you.
Moments later, they file into classrooms that have transformed their learning experience. Spacious rooms with adequate desks. The contrast is striking. Just a few meters away, the old classroom block still stands. Cracked mud walls slowly giving way. Large openings expose the interior to the elements. Beneath the rusting roof, wooden stakes planted into the ground support long planks that once served as seats for pupils.
The old place, actually, it was too bad because if you see the pavilion there, it was not floored, and the sitting place wasn't available, and the other things, the equipment, it wasn't there. Where to store our learning materials, it wasn't there. It was too bad for we the teachers and the students.
For nearly a decade, head teacher Samson Manchin watched children learn in these conditions. Today, he says the most visible change is not only the new classroom block, but the growing number of children now coming to school.
It has really helped because the enrollment has improved. Because at first we're having about 137 children at first, but now that we move into the new building, we have about 268 children or learners, which shows that the attendance have improved because of the new environment we are now living in. If I bring these fingers and these fingers, if I add them, that will be what? 9. Please, if you know, you raise up your hand.
Among those benefiting is 14-year-old Ernestina Nkwalem. She wants to become a nurse.
The assessment is there. Because even if you are not teaching, the way children will be expressing themselves, this shows that the old thing and the new thing is not the same. Now, whenever we are teaching, you see, children now have their what? They now have their seats comfortably, where to put their books and where to write on. They now have. But at first, they have to what? To put books on their tie before they can write. But now they now have their comfortable what? Places. And we the teachers too, we have a whiteboard and a blackboard. Wherever you want, you can teach. But first we didn't have that privilege.
My brother, what is this? Snake, clap for him.
Teacher Joseph Tanga says the improved environment is helping pupils engage more actively during lessons.
Small ways. And very small ways. When they commissioned this place and then we came here, the children also say, hey, this school will also enter the school there and learn new things. So they came and then for the cooperation and then the co-op, very, very, very good. They are doing the cooperation, the attendance and everything. They don't joke.
The classrooms are brighter, the desks are adequate, and pupils are more eager to come to school.
The structure is very, 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 very conducive. It's very, very nice, and the place too is very, very comfortable. When they built this one, the children appreciate. Even the paint itself made the children love to also enter to these premises and then be our children for us to teach them, our learners.
The new classroom block was constructed after concerns about conditions at the school were highlighted through Joy News' Crumbling Start series, supported by the CLARE project, implemented by School for Life. Community members engaged duty bearers and pushed for action.
During the Schools of Shame and the Crumbling Start, we identified these critical issues and highlighted them to the public. The duty bearers have also seen it. And then continuous follow-ups by these citizen groups to follow up on the duty bearers, on the promises, on the pledges they are making to address these critical gaps. Going around this time around, we've seen that progress has been made. We will talk about the Polarido in the Tatali Sanguli district, where there's now a befitting school class infrastructure, and then adequate, at least, decks for the learners to sit on.
The transformation at Polarido demonstrates what can happen when communities are supported to speak up and demand better education. But while the classrooms have changed, some challenges remain. The school has only 2 teachers serving 8 classes, and community leaders are pushing for inclusion in the school feeding program to help keep children in school throughout the day.
Look at the big school like this, and we are only 2 teachers handling the school from KG1 to P6, 8 classes, and we are only 2.
Most of the children, they are still small. Then when they come by break time 10, for them to go to break and come back. Some will go, they will not come back. Then next morning, if you ask them, they will tell you when they went, they didn't cook. Because of that, they were there to cook and eat for themselves. Then it's good, like if we have feeding program for the school, it will help. Because most of the children, anytime they will come, they won't go back. And that will help in our teaching and learning. Hammer, we do hammer, we all do the same.
For now, the children of Polarido are learning in an environment that encourages them to come to school. And for a community that waited years for a proper place to learn, that change is already being reflected in the growing number of children filling these classrooms every day. Emmanuel Jivanu, Joy News, Tatali Sanguli District, Northern Region.
Let's clap for ourselves.
Refuse collectors have been left stranded in a long queue at the McCarthy Hill landfill site as congestion at the facility disrupts operations. The frustrated collectors are calling for an immediate intervention to address the situation, which they say has severely affected their work. According to them, as at 6 a.m. this morning, the queue had barely moved because the landfill site was heavily congested. Some of the affected collectors spoke to Joy News.
As if they are not allowing us to dump. This is the only place we have. And most of us come from Teshi, Nungwa, Lashibi, and all those places. And this place is choked as a result of everyone trooping in here, you see. And it's because there's no conventional dumping site for these Abubuya operators. And it has been like this for a very long time. And I am seeing that the government doesn't prioritize sanitation at all. Despite
too much, because if you come here, no, we suffer too much. So now we have customers boiler there for the people house. We no go feel take the boiler proper because the traffic. It be only here the work. So when you come here, no.
What was say? Baya 2 weeks in the Sia near Nakuraye. Learning and was a member 12 1 Namambra Hambave. Mone Chana Mona Arasar Honum. Learning Quasa Quapimo, which I joins Honum. Anti Yesra Bain Yania Hunto. Yesra Bain say one ban in Imbrasim Bave. Now, who de Quaso because Yantiasi.
Concerns are mounting over a refuse dump located at American Farm, a suburb of Kaswa Amanfrom, which residents say is contaminating the Densu River whenever it rains. The river serves as a critical water source for millions of people across the Greater Accra region. Residents also blame the damping site for persistent flooding in the area, saying it has made life increasingly unbearable. Fatal Bayaga has more.
This has become the daily routine of Safia Osman. Every day she sprays her home in a desperate attempt to keep away swarms of houseflies that have invaded her compound. This is because an illegal waste dump is situated just behind her house.
2 days 45 cedis.
Every 2 days, I buy an insecticide spray worth 45 cedis to spray my house because of the house flies. If I don't do this, it could possibly cause illness for my children.
Just a few minutes walk from Safia's home is the residence of Ajua Kone. Her room is gradually sinking as mountain heaps of waste continue to worsen, flooding in the area. She now fears for her safety whenever the rains begin.
We asked, but they would not tell us who permitted the dumping of waste here. Now all kinds of creatures have invaded our homes. After the last downpour, my room started sinking and visible cracks appeared. Now we fear for our lives.
The effects are also being felt in the education sector. Headmistress of Westgate International School, Helen Ankra, says the school is gradually losing students as worried parents continue to withdraw their wards.
But it is not conducive for learning. It is not. And so parents are withdrawing their wards.
Your school is collapsing.
Yes, it's collapsing. And I wonder how they see an institution here and they decided to do these things behind the institution.
During the last major downpour, a life was lost as floodwaters swept through parts of the area. Even more alarming, residents say every rainfall washes large quantities of highly contaminated waste into the river. Assembly member for the Amanfrom electoral area, Joseph Kobna Fiamo, describes the situation as deeply worrying.
A very big challenge because when the referee dams have been stopping the water flow, so it's making it difficult for that to flow.
But for Safia Osman, who gave birth just 3 months ago, and many others living near the dump, assurances alone are not enough. They say immediate action is needed to eliminate the growing environmental and health threats before the situation spirals further out of control. For Joy News, Fatal Bayaga, American Farm, Gas South Municipality.
Private tricycle solid waste collectors in Kumasi who are stranded at the Oti landfill are threatening to offload waste at unauthorized locations. The waste collectors say they have been unable to access designated dumping points for 4 days due to congestion and alleged poor management at the site. The situation has left dozens of tricycles queued at the landfill entrance with waste beginning to decompose in the rain. More in this report by Francis Mensah. Read to you.
In protest over unresolved grievances, the frustrated waste collectors set tires ablaze at the waste disposal site in a demonstration. The act, they explained, was intended to draw the urgent attention of authorities to the deteriorating conditions at the landfill. Chairman of the Sanitation Tricycle Riders Association, Salim Mohammed, blamed the crises on repeated breakdowns of compacting and leveling equipment at the landfill. He said the faulty machines has left waste piling up with no way to manage it properly. He added that the Kumasi mayor has inspected the site on several occasions, and with each visit, he came with promises and directives to repair the equipment and restore operations. However, those assurances have not translated into action, and the conditions at the landfill remain unchanged.
At Oti landfill site, we are having a problem for almost 1 month to 2 months now, which like the problem have not been solved. So we send our message to the mayor, and the mayor involved in, and he himself came in and come and see the thing that we are facing here. So he talked to the contractor, and he told him that what is going on here is not what he likes. So the contractor also led him an assurance. They give him 10 days for you to make sure that to deliver the problem that we are facing here. But after Mayor gone, say now, the problem is almost worse. And what they are saying, their money is with the government for almost 2 years, which the government have not paid them. And aside that, because of the money issue, they can't get a new machine for them to operate.
The riders are appealing to their Santehene to personally intervene and use his influence to ensure the necessary action is carried out to reduce the congestion at the landfill. Meanwhile, one waste collector, Bafo Bempa, warned that the operators would be forced to dump waste at unauthorized points across the Oti landfill site if officials failed to act.
The challenges we are facing here is machines. We need the government to step in. The mayor came in here, no results. He gave them 10 days ultimatum. Yes, no results. Otumfor Nana Asante also sent a delegate. They too came here. And we don't think the message was being sent to Nana. Because ever since these delegates came in here, the problem has been worsening up. Please and please. As we are saying, joke on joke, today no Aboboya is going to sleep on landfill here. We are going to offload wherever we are parked. We are going to offload. Nobody can stop us today. Because today we are not sleeping here. No matter what, come with me, we are not sleeping. So please, whether they steps in or they don't steps in, today we are not sleeping. But tomorrow, we will load and come and offload again. So we need machines, people who can work properly. J also can work. JSO, they can't work. They have been promising us. Machine has been coming since last year. Yes, we are not getting results.
Francis Mensah's report for Joy News.
Away from the Ashanti region, the signing of a memorandum of understanding has set in motion the Tamale, Damango and Yendi water supply project with stakeholders. Consultations underway to address decades of water shortages in the three communities. The agreement, backed by a €106 million grant from the European Union, the European Investment Bank and Investment International, was highlighted by the Managing Director of the Ghana Water Limited during stakeholder engagement meetings held in Damango, Yape and Kusagu in the Savannah region.
Managing Director of the Ghana Water Company Limited and his entourage paid a courtesy call on the Savannah Regional Minister, the overlord of the Gunja traditional area and some other chiefs in the area. Speaking to the media on the sidelines of the tour, Mr. Adamoto Kilu said a loan deal is expected to follow in September or October.
And today marks the beginning of stakeholders' consultations for the environmental social impact assessment, the right of way, and payment for compensation. This is because there have been significant progress in the project. As we speak, the Minister of Finance has signed a grant of 106 million euros with the European Union, European Investment Bank, and Invest International. And by September, October, the loan agreement will be signed. But it's also good to know that for Damango, we've secured a commitment to authorization from the Minister of Finance since April. So this is the beginning of serious stakeholders consultation to sensitize the people to know the impact of the project and to make sure that compensation are paid.
He said he was waiting for compensation to be paid and then he would declare the date work will start.
And we don't want to give you date when they have challenges with some people to get them to agree to what we want to do and there is a delay. There is, Galusman promised this date and it didn't happen. I don't do that. The moment compensation is being paid, we know that all the obstacles have been cleared and the way forward for a contractor to kickstart. 2, we will give you details. It is not going to be sole source. It's going to be competitive bidding.
The Savannah Regional Minister, Swale Subiaurube, said the utmost need of the people is to see the project come to fruition.
We are hoping that this one would kickstart in earnest. The area has been starved. Indeed, we have a lot of water, but we are starved with water at various areas. And if you are in Damango and any discussion about water, you become their savior. And we are looking forward to this project. Not just commencing, but commencing and completing within the reign of His Excellency the President.
As Ghana continues to struggle with devastating effects of perennial flooding, a Canadian-based data scientist is calling for a radical shift in how the nation manages its environment. Professor Andy Asare, an assistant professor in data science analytics at the University of Calgary, Canada, is proposing the integration and use of data science and artificial intelligence as the blueprints to solving the country's perennial flooding crisis. Hemintevia reports.
Ghana over the years has faced perennial flooding that has led to loss of lives and property. Promises and attempts to solve this have not yielded positive results as human development and climate change continue to drive flooding in major cities. According to Professor Andy Asare, the world currently generates between 400 and 500 million terabytes of data daily through mobile phones, social media, banking and business transactions. He observed government can harness data and move away from reactive measures by precisely predicting rainfall patterns to know when and how floods occur. The former student of Agogo State SHS and Tamale Technical University believes the antidote to solving what appear to be a complex national challenge, such as floods, lies in a data-based approach and how data can be used to make informed decisions.
As part of the proposal was for us to come up with a new program that is environmental analytics. So the environmental analytics is whereby students now get opportunity to collect data sets, right, pertaining to, let's say, natural disasters, areas of disaster, all of that, and then sit down, analyze, and say, okay, which areas in Ghana, which areas in Accra, okay, are prone to flooding, and what contributes to this whole flooding issues? Is it about the population in these areas, like pressure on that area? Is it about housing issues? Is it about sanitation issues? Now, without data sets, if you're not able to analyze the true cause or the underlying issue of this whole natural disasters happening in Ghana, there's nothing that we can do to fix. And I don't stand to be corrected, because we need to address the issue from the grassroots. So, and that's where data comes in. Because whatever decision that you make, whether we want to expand our bridges or you want to expand our gutters, you want to demolish houses, all of that, you need to base your decision on facts. And the facts will be the numbers that you have. So I'll say what happened a few days ago in terms of the flooding in Ghana, to me, we can find something good from the bad.
Highlighting the link between data science and flooding, he said, AI serves as the engine that processes massive amounts of environmental and meteorological data. With this technology, he noted that Ghana can use AI algorithms to predict things by looking at past rainfall patterns, soil moisture levels, drainage systems, and city layouts.
On the media, I've seen people complaining that the issue has nothing to do with where structures have been built. Some are complaining that the issue has to do with blockage of drainages in the country. So if you don't engage stakeholders, if you don't collect data set from stakeholders, you'll not be able to understand the root cause of the problem. The flooding issue in Ghana right now has to do with multiple factors. It's not only one problem. People building structures in waterlogged areas, right, where they're not supposed to build, like the Ramsey sites, all of that is a factor. Individuals or citizens not being responsible, they throw garbages all over the place. I can only conclude when we were able to collect data sets.
Professor Asare has over 15 years of experience in teaching data science and analytics in tertiary institutions in Canada, China, and Ghana. He has an upcoming free virtual data science and analytics conference in Ghana on June 27, 2026. The student-focused conference is driven by Professor Asare's resolve to help students and professionals globally developed their data science potentials. From Kumasi, for Joy News, Onyementeria reporting.
To the Oti region now, where the Member of Parliament for Akan constituency, Yawo Gomado, has indicated his commitment to ensuring quality health delivery in the constituency. He made the remarks when he presented laptops to the Kajebi District Health Directorate to end the era where official works were done on personal laptops. The following report has more.
The Member of Parliament for Akan constituency, Engineer Gomado, has expressed his commitment to ensuring that health services delivery in his constituency remain his topmost priority. As part of efforts to ensuring that his commitment sees the light of day, he presented 7 pieces of laptops and a projector to the District Health Directorate. This would be used to furnish the newly constructed conference hall at the Directorate and other health posts that will need the laptops for efficient health services delivery.
Health delivery is one of my priorities, and being the reason why I've supported all this while, and then donated the laptops today to support the Health Directorate, as the Director has mentioned. This is to support the staff to deliver their mandate or deliver to their mandate. And all that I want to ask them is to take good care of it, maintain it so that these laptops will last longer. In addition to that, I've also getting to know today that they need PA system. I've also pledged to deliver that to them in few days. That is to support or call for the people to watch the World Cup. I'll be providing a DSTV to support everything that they have here.
The District Director for Health Services, Eric Techi, indicates that the laptops would be of significant service to the directorates in terms of processing of health insurance claims payments, among others.
These laptops have come at a time that we actually expected it, all because most of our health facilities do not have laptops to process their health insurance claims. And as a result of that, there's always late submission of claims. And because most of the staff use their personal laptops to manage the claims, when it so happens they are on transfer or they are on leave, then claims management is stalled, and it affects us mostly because of the health insurance is unable to reimburse us for the services we have rendered, and it's affecting all the health facilities financially. So we appeal to the Honorable Member of Parliament to support us with laptops, and gladly and thankfully the laptops have been procured. So some of the health facilities in the various communities are going to benefit from it. And once they have it, health insurance claims management and general reporting, timely reporting of our data is going to speed up.
The District Health Director has also appealed to individuals and philanthropists to help furnish the newly constructed conference hall, which will be available for social events. Peter Sanu for Joy News.
And I'm Kenneth Gyasi here in Accra. That's it for the Pulse. The news team returns at 7 p.m. with News Prime. Have a good evening.
PM Express, power is confronted, claims are tested, and accountability is not optional.
The first 2 months in office between January, February, and March, we had already brought down this rate, and then we have sustained it since.
Politics, business, the economy, social justice. If it affects your life, it will be examined. If it shapes your future, it will be interrogated.
You ever sitting there today, you see me sweating, I'm answering your question, you in the comfort of your chair, putting all these questions to me. That is why you would not have the responsibility of bringing about this document.
No safe spaces for evasion, no comfort in half-truths, just facts, pressure, and the courage to stay with the question.
until the answer comes.
Your word says,
my words were,
those
listen,
on Compact Plus, you pay 570 and you get more channels.
Evans,
that moves you.
This is the speech.
To
the speech I read yesterday is what I'm holding here. You didn't read the speech. You didn't write it. I wrote it and I read it.
Because democracy demands scrutiny and the public deserves clarity. When the day's noise fades and the nation needs understanding, there is PM Express on Joy News. Independent, fearless, credible.
Every morning.